Hello guys, welcome back again. It's Carl0209 here from MisterFloppyJackson. Welcome back to another video from me. So thanks for watching this video today, guys. And we're going to be looking at today is something that, well, that not being requested initially, but I thought I may as well do like a sequel to it. Quite a lot of videos ago, I created a video of how to do Minecraft Server, which has been quite successful, getting about 150 views. Now today, we're going to be looking at something more advanced these days. People don't want to be running standard Minecraft servers, for standard vanilla ones. They want more fun into the game. Obviously, Minecraft do bring out good features, but you know, they can't have everyone's features. But with Bukkit and Tekkit, well, they can. You see, Bukkit allows you to install plugins that can make your Minecraft experience much better. Tekkit is essentially the same, but it's a little bit more complicated, and you can put much better mods on. The main problem with that is it's not only server side, it's also client side. And we'll talk more about that later on in this video. So try to make this as quick as I can and make sure that you don't get confused. So to start off with, we're going to start off with part 1, which is setting up the Bukkit server, and there are going to be separate steps to do that. So part 1, let's see how to create a Bukkit server. Okay, so creating a Bukkit server is pretty easy. I mean, it's essentially the same as downloading a Minecraft one. And step 1 is to download the Bukkit server file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to www.bukkit.jar. The links are in the description for everything you'll need in this video to create your own Tekkit or Bukkit server. As you can see, CraftBukkit for Minecraft 1.5 is now available. So you can download the latest version, which is 1.5, which is like the Redstone update. Stupid updates. So let's download that one. So you just click on at the top where it says Get CraftBukkit out of the menus, and you'll come to the CraftBukkit wiki. Now this shows you how to set up a server. We're going to ignore that for now. We're going to show you how to do it on a video. So click on whichever operating system you're using. It supports Mac OS X, Linux and Windows. You're going to select Windows, CraftBukkit recommended build. And you'll find it's only a 1.4.7. If you want the latest update, what you've got to do is you've got to go to Bukkit here. You'll see the latest post that they put on, which is CraftBukkit 1.5 development build is now available. And you just click on the continue reading button, which gives you the full blog, full post they put on here, as you can see here. Okay, and you just click on the download button, which should be around here somewhere. Okay, well it looks like they don't show you where to download it. So unfortunately, we're just gonna have to put up with using the latest build. But of course, I'm sure you guys, if you download the latest version, there could be a few bugs because it's the latest version. So we're gonna download the safe version. They know that's fine to use, which is CraftBukkit 1.4.7. Okay, now what we're going to do first is create a folder for your server to run. So I'll just call this test server. Okay, and as you can see, the folder is empty. So we're going to download that into that folder. So you want to save it. You can download it and then put it in, move it to your location you want. So there's our test server folder. Rename the file. This is the reason why you should click on save as, not just save. Rename the file CraftBukkit, all lowercase, no spaces, CraftBukkit, and save it. Just running security scan. Okay, and it's fine. As you can see there, it's about 12 megabytes in size, similar to the standard Minecraft server, but a bit larger, so it can support plugins. So that completes step 1, which is downloading the Bukkit server. Okay, so now that we have our CraftBukkit server file downloaded, we need to create an executable command for it, because at the moment double clicking it will only generate server files that we don't need. Well, we do need, but we can generate them later. So don't bother double clicking it and trying to open it, it won't work. So what you need to do now is you need to create an executable command to run the server. Now you can do this in the same place as you got the server files from. We can go onto the Bukkit forums or the Bukkit wiki. So we're just going to bukkit.org, go back to the Get CraftBukkit. Okay, so we go to the Bukkit wiki, and you'll see if you're using Windows, you need this command here as the executable command. I'm not going to be talking about Mac OS X or Linux because I'm using a Windows machine, but if you guys really need a Linux or Mac OS X installation, then I'll try my best to get it for you. I don't think there's anywhere I could actually show Mac OS X because I don't have any link of Mac OS X. Don't really know anyone who has it, who I know, so I couldn't really do it, unfortunately. But I can show you for Linux if you really need it. So what you're going to do if you're on Windows, obviously, you want to create a document file. Sorry, not document file, Notepad file. Okay, all you want to do is copy this here. This little bit of text here. It says Java and then loads of random letters and stuff. Okay, and you just want to paste it into there. Now you need to go to File and then Save As. Important you do Save As. In the file name you want to do run.bat and then save it into the same folder as you just saved the craftbukkit.jar folder. So that's in, and ours is in test folder saver, as you can see here. So once you've done that, make sure that you save as type all files. If you don't do that, it will not work. It'll do run.bat.text and it won't work. Now you want to click save, and you can close Notepad. And if you go to it, you can see a little icon that says run, and then it's like a cog icon in the side of the window. And you'll see it says Windows batch file. It's only a kilobyte inside, which is fine. Now we have an executable command, and if we double click it, you can see the command prompt opens up. This is our Bukkit server here. Now it's generating all the files we're going to need. Now you might get a few errors because it hasn't actually loaded the file, because it can't find the file, but it's actually generating them at the same time. So don't worry about all these errors for the first time. Once you've started it, you want to stop it again because you still haven't finished yet. So we're about a quarter of the way there now. You can see all the files we're going to need, and the folders you'll see are the World, World Never, and World The End, and you'll see the plugins folder. Now, if you have a plugin called Multiverse Core or another multi-world plugin, you might see more folders than there actually are here. Okay, because it generates world files and puts them in here. What to the world where everyone will spawn out when they first come will be the world folder. Okay. Deleting any of these files will cause the server to generate a new one. Deletion of any of these files will cause the server to generate a new one. So basically that's it, guys. That's the server side of it done. We've got the server up and running now. We're just gonna take a look at a few things it offers. If you click on this server file, which if it doesn't actually load up, if it says Windows can't find the file, you want to click on Open With. You'll see a window that pops up, says choose a program you want to use to open this file. You want to use Notepad if you can, find it on the list of programs. Once you do so, you'll see it come up here. Okay, and you can see it says Minecraft Server Properties. Now, there are lots of things here that might seem confusing, but we're going to start with the easiest one, which is Message of the Day. It's what appears underneath the server when someone goes on multiplayer on Minecraft clients and tries to connect. So you can, whatever you put in here will appear there. Don't make it too big or else it will kind of like screw it up and you won't be able to see the text properly. It will like go over the maximum players number. So MOTD you can put whatever you want. I'll put it test server only. Alright? And basically the main rule is that anything after the equals is what you input. So don't change any of the text before equals nor equals itself. So as you can see here, server port, you can change that to your liking, but we're going to touch on that later on. Server IP is important you leave it empty. Now, the one I'm going to look at today is spawn animals. If you have this on false, it won't spawn animals. So the key is true, it's like it's enabled. False is it's disabled. So if we set this to false, animals will not spawn. Hardcore mode, if you don't know what that is, it's where you only have one life if you're on single player. If you're on server, if you're on multiplayer, then you'll find that the only difference is that when you die, you get kicked from the server. But it's very easy to unban them again. Difficulty, it goes from 0 to 4. 0 is peaceful, 1 is easy, 2 is normal, 3 is hard, and I think 4 is actually hardcore. Weird. PvP stands for itself, really players versus players. If that's set to false, players can't be attacked by other players. Spawn monsters, really they're just ones that you should know really. unless you're a real proper Minecraft noob, which making a server is just not for you. So that's basically it of the server side of things. You want to perhaps save this. The settings will only come in play once you restart the server, which is easy. So that's basically the end of that. We've got the server up and running now, and we've generated all the files we need. So let's go on to step 3, which, sorry, I should say step 4, which shows you how to make. So your server is up and running now, and we can just simply run it. See, it's coming up there. Done. Go on Minecraft. Someday. Here we go. Okay. Right, so here we go. These are the clients, and if we just go in, as you can see, oops. Sorry, I got now. This is 1.5 Minecraft, and the server is 1.4.7. That gets a lot of people. That does. So if you desperately need people to connect to your server, I recommend that you use something called MVC, which can make your Minecraft client go back to 1.4.7. But for now, I was just trying to show you your server is up and running now, and if you only need it for LAN use, so that's people in your same household, then the video stops here. But if you want it available to the world, it involves a bit more. Now, what we need to do here for part 4 is we have to configure our server files. Now, here's I typed in a load of random numbers there. Basically, what this is the router files. The router settings. So anyone who connects to the internet, unless you have dial-up, you'll have like a router or a wired modem, which gives you access to the internet. And you basically that channels loads of things, but we need to do a few settings to make it work. Now, each router is different, unless you've got the same one as me. So this is the Virgin Media Super Hub, which you get if you use the Virgin Media up to 30 megabits per second or higher package. But obviously, it depends on your router. Hence the reason why this part is a little bit. This is what catches out people. So you basically need to go onto router settings. This is in general, and you need to go to something called port forwarding. Okay. And on mine it's really easy because it just says port forwarding here, but it might be a little bit not show it properly for you. Okay, now I already have the server config ready for use. So as you can see, you want to add the rule, which should be the start port and the end port should be the same, and the number is what you set in your config file. So if you put this, for example, as 77770, you're going to put that into the start port and the end port. If someone wants to connect though, and you don't use the default port, which is 25565, they need to put in front of the IP address, which I'll share it again in a moment for step 5, is colon and then the port number. But if you just leave it at default and you put 25565, then users will only have to have your IP address in. The IP address can be found is used by your computer. Alright, and we can actually find our IP address by going into ipconfig for the command prompt. However, doing this is a little bit annoying because you will have what's called, or most instances, you will have a dynamic IP set by a DHCP server. Pretty much all routers will have a server in them called DHCP, which basically gives you a random, well, not always random, but a Ethernet an IP address automatically. Now sometimes when you go off and on again, it'll give you a different IP address, so people won't be able to connect if that happens. So step 5. Step 5 is showing you how to create a static IP address. This stops your this will make it so your computer always uses the same IP address each time it connects to the server. So as I just said, guys, we need to make it so our computer itself uses a static IP address. This is easy to do. Now, whether you're using wireless or wired, it works. You need to select the adapter you're using. So, go onto the control panel and go into, if you're on category view, network and internet. If you're on icon view, click on network and sharing center. If you're on icon view, you'll go straight to it. If you're on category view, click on network and internet, and then click on network and sharing center. Then you want to click change adapter settings. Oops. Change adapter settings. You'll see some adapters. Perhaps some computers might only have one. Most laptops will have two, which will be a wired connection and a wireless connection. I'm using a desktop computer here, but I have got a wireless connection at the moment. So you want to select the active adapter you're using to connect to the internet. So you right click it and click on properties, and you'll see this window that comes up that says wireless. Well, it'll give you the adapter name, something properties. Okay, so it might be like this one here, local area connection properties. On mine it's wireless network connection 6, but it's just, it's just simpler really. And you'll see it tells me what adapter it's called. So it's a Belkin FD8053N wireless USB adapter. This will be different, depends on what adapter you're using, but most will be essentially the same. You want to click on Internet Protocol version 4, and then click on the Properties button. You'll see loads of random numbers. Now, you will be, if you haven't, your computer will be set to obtain an IP address automatically and obtain a DNS server address automatically. Click the one that says use the following IP address, and you should find that this one will automatically go to that one. And the IP address, you want to put in a suitable IP. Now, some routers are different. On this one, it starts off as 192. All IP addresses connected to this router I'm using now will start off as 192.168.0 and then a number from 2 to 254. Okay. Now, you can find out what starting numbers the router uses by again going into the IP config on the command prompt. And as you can see, if you look at it, this isn't an actual set IP because I'm actually using a static IP now. But you'll find that whatever the first three numbers are is what you want to put into the IP address here. And then you can choose a number from 2 to 254. It's important you get that right, or you won't get an internet connection. The subnet mask is always the same. It's 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway you can find out again by going to IP config, and you'll see it says default gateway, which is 192.168.0.1, and the DNS settings. The DNS settings are actually what to do with your ISP, so you need to find that off the internet. Alright, you just type in Google DNS settings for, and then you want to type in your ISP name. So for example, I'm with Virgin Media. Okay, so if I type that into Google, and you want to pick an appropriate search result that will tell you the information. It seems obvious to go into the same one here. Okay. And you can see I found it here, which is 194.168.4.100 as a secondary, as a primary IP DNS server, and the secondary is the same, but instead of 0.4, it's 0.8. And you want to get these correct, or else it won't work. Once you've done that, click OK, and then click OK again. You'll actually say close, but I don't want to change the settings because I don't need to. Once you've done that, you should find that you have a static IP. As soon as you do this, you instantly lose internet connection. This is because you've done it wrong. And obviously, I can't be exact because different routers have different addresses and stuff. But I've been trying to explain this out as best I can. Oops. So once you've done with that and you've got a successful connection, go back into your router settings and do exactly as I said on part 3. Well, I was going to explain, but I realised about this. So now, once you've got your static IP address, you can go back to your router settings now. Oops. It's a good job to get the password right. So now that we've configured our PC to use a static IP address, go into your router settings, and I'm attempting to do now. Here we go. And as I said earlier on, your router might be different than what I've got, and you might see a different router setting. You might want to go on the internet or find your router's documentation or manual to find out how to port forward specifically, because that's what we're going to be doing, port forwarding. As you can see, if you're using the Virgin Media Superhub, then you're in luck, because this is what I'm using, so this video will show you how to do it. Obviously, if you don't have the Virgin Media Superhub, then I'm sorry guys, you're just going to have to live with it. You're going to have to find out how to do it, but you want to port forward to similar instructions I'm going to show you now. So the name is just going to be whatever you want to choose really. You might want to put something that you can remember, such as Minecraft MCS, which stands for Minecraft Server. The start port needs to be the same as the end port. Now, to find out the start port, you want to go to your Minecraft server settings, alright, which is the server.properties file. Now, you can set the server port yourself. So as you can see at the moment, it's set to the default 25565. Now, there are many reasons why you might want to change this. You might have multiple servers on your network, hence you need to choose a different server port. Or you might want to do it so that hackers don't find your server, because they'll probably try the default port first, won't they? So you need to put whatever the server port is, you need to put it into here. Make sure that both the start port and the end port are the same. Oops. And the protocol is both TCP and UDP. And the IP address is the IP address you set yourself when you created a static IP. What you want to do then is you want to confirm that and add it to your router. Once you've done so, you should find that it's available to the internet, and that concludes how to set up the Linux server. And that's basically it. Now you need to tell people your IP address. Some ISPs tend to do it the hard way, and they make it so that they change your IP address every once in a while, or not at all. With Virgin Media, if your router isn't getting a connection for 7 days, then you will have a different IP once your router gets connected again, just so they can allow more customers to connect to their network. But they'll always make sure that you will get a connection yourself. Just that if your router isn't getting an active connection for at least 7 days, then you'll find once the server does get a connection again, you'll find a different IP address. But to find out your external IP address, what the IP address looks like on the internet, type in Google, "what is my IP?" and you'll find it shows you here. It might be different if you're using what's called a proxy server. If so, I don't really know what to do there, because I've never come across that before. But chances are you're not going to be using that, unless you're like a business or something, which is very... Why would you put a Minecraft server in a business? I don't know. But anyway, so that's your public IP address. Tell your friends and people who are going to be connecting to the server that IP address, and people should be able to access it. If the server port is not 25565, then you'll find that you need to put colon and then the port number after it. So that concludes how to create a Bukkit server. In the next episode, we're going to look at a Tekkit server. Thanks for watching.